Defensive lineman Khurtiss Perry is out. He's transferring from Alabama. Is he leaving because Alabama wants him to leave, or is he leaving for greener pastures? We're going to talk about that. 5-star wide receiver Caleb Cunningham is coming to Tuscaloosa. Official visit set. We're going to talk about him. And don't forget about Bishop Gorman wide receiver Derek Meadows. Another ball hawk is coming to Tuscaloosa in June. We're going to talk about him. Then we're going to switch over to basketball. Latrell Wrightsell. He's coming back. Man, the guy just muscled and toughed it out last year, had the head injuries, but was there at the end of the season. He is a glue guy, underrated. He's coming back, but Mohamed Wague hits the portal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys off of that Final Four team are leaving. So we're going to talk all that right here on the Bama Tailgate YouTube channel. Like and subscribe. Give us a thumbs up. That's a way of saying Roll Tide. And I love all of you guys in the comment section. Man, it is so fun reading how smart you guys are and how much you know about Alabama football. Roll Tide, everybody. Let's get the show started. There he is, big, sexy Elmo in the house. Good to see you, brother. At Brett Elmore Show, host on WJLX Radio. I'm Mick Gillispie at Broadcaster Mick. All right, Brett, you are chomping at the bit. You are fired up about what's going on in Tuscaloosa. Let's start with the first guy to transfer out. And I got a feeling, Brett, let's talk about Khurtiss Perry hitting the portal. I got a feeling that he's one of those guys that was getting beat in practice, and he wants to go somewhere else where he might be able to play.
Well, first scholarship player lost in the spring portal. So not a whole lot of damage has been done so far to the Alabama football team. But, this guy's a redshirt sophomore, and he was highly touted at a Pike Road, 6'2", 265, number 2 prospect in the state in 2022. But he didn't really record any stats during his time with the Tide. I think he appeared in 1 ball game. And, because of these SEC transfer rules, from what I understand during this spring window, he's not going to be able to go to another SEC school. But, the thing is, and I'll tell you what gets me right here. He announced this, and it was confirmed by his representatives at A&P Sports Agency.
Yeah, that's bull crap.
And I was like, what? And I was like, good grief, here we go. So this news was released and confirmed by his representatives at A&P Sports Agency, which, by the way, I looked up. You know where that's headquartered at?
Where?
Austin, Texas.
Oh, well, maybe he'll end up there. The unfortunate thing for, amateur athletics is it's not amateur athletics anymore. And I wanted to see the guys make some money. I wanted to see them get an opportunity to use their name, image, and likeness. And all that's happened is it's pro sports. And honestly, there needs to be some serious questions asked about, and not just at Alabama, I'm saying across the board, on what we're doing here, because these aren't amateur athletics anymore. And I get it. If it's not, then they need to set it up like it's, like the NFL or something, because these guys having representation and all this stuff. I mean, come on, man. But you know what? Good luck to him. And we never heard his name because he never played. So maybe he goes to Texas and, he'll be a superstar there. If he was that good, he would have played at Alabama.
Correct. Yeah. So the defensive line room wasn't hit too hard.
No.
So, but that's some news coming out of Tuscaloosa.
All right, let's get into what's coming into Tuscaloosa as far as big-time prospects, and we'll start with 5-star wide receiver Caleb Cunningham. He is coming on June 21st. This is a guy who I'm sure Hollywood Williams is going to try to help get to town, add to that wide receiver group. And Alabama's already proven you can have 4-star wide receivers and get everybody the ball.
Yeah, some folks have him at 5-star. But he has set 4 official visits. They're all within the SEC. It starts in Auburn. Then he'll go to Florida. Then he'll go to Tennessee. Then he'll come to Alabama. Those are all in 4 weeks. And, a lot of folks are still thinking that he's leaning toward Mississippi State because of where he's from, Ackerman, Mississippi.
Right.
Choctaw County High School. We've talked about him before. He's 6'3", 180 pounds, a dynamic player. Ole Miss has come up on the radar too as of late. But great athletic background, but he's set that visit, and he's one of 2 receivers set to come to Tuscaloosa for their official visit.
Yeah, nice. And the second guy how many times do you say Bishop Gorman? Because they just are a factory of college football players, and Derek Meadows is one of the best wide receivers in the country, and he's also coming in June.
Yeah, 6'5", 200 pounds. If you're not familiar with Bishop Gorman, he's from Las Vegas, fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada. He's got a lot of schools on his list. A lot of people think he's going to go to Notre Dame, but Alabama's still on that radar. Oddly enough, I think South Carolina is really high on his list because he's gonna officially visit South Carolina and Alabama, and there was one other too that I can't remember. But anyway, a Nevada 2003 Gatorade Track and Field Player of the Year, so he's a multi-sport athlete. As a sophomore, he helped Bishop Gorman win the 5A state title. Caught 15 passes, 391s, and 8 touchdowns.
Nice.
So a very good prospect, and he'll make his trip to Tuscaloosa, and we'll see if we can win him over.
Let's do it, man. Let's make it a good visit.
Yeah, really.
Coach Shep, he's really connecting with these wide receivers. I mean, and then the fact that your head coach is a former wide receiver and Coach DeBoer, there's just a connection that I think Alabama's going to continue to have with ball catchers, with the Hawks, because they're going to want to play for a guy that gets it, man. And think about the secondaries that Saban had. Because, hey, man, you want the head coach to know who you are and to pay close attention to what you do. When he's kind of always looking at what you've got going on, it helps out. It makes those guys really want to be involved.
100%. That's right.
So very, very cool. All right, let's switch to round ball. And the crazy thing is, since the Final Four, I've just been so much more interested in basketball because I feel like Alabama legitimately can win a national championship. And what Nate Oates has continued to do has just been really amazing. So, as we, build forward on this trek of trying to cut the nets down for the final time, we are seeing guys come and go. And the transfer portal, if you think football is bad, basketball is a complete mess right now with the portal. So let's go bad news first and good news second. Mohamed Wague hits the transfer portal, Brett. This is the 6th guy off a team that went to the Final Four to leave. And I mean, don't you go to college to win, or are we going to college now as a job? And if it's a job, then why are we paying for these guys scholarships? I mean, why when are they going to pay in? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's pretty crazy. And think about smaller schools that are funding these guys to basically up and run. And Waugie's the next guy.
Yeah, he's a guy that provided some quality minutes off the bench. And you're talking about the commitment and everything. Look, Wague, let's be brutally honest. He's going to be playing for his 4th team in 4 seasons.
Right.
He went JUCO, then he played for West Virginia, then he came to Tuscaloosa, now he's transferring out. You know, and you mentioned the sixth scholarship player to leave, and that's our second big man to leave too. Nick Pringle, of course, out, but you know, as a junior, Wague, you know, he averaged 3 points a game and maybe 3 rebounds, and only played an average of 8 minutes a game.
Right.
And he had some bad luck, though. You know, you have to factor all that in. He had that foot injury, and then he, you know, his time was very sporadic. He re-aggravated the injury during the season, and so you know, it's I hate losing 6 players off this team that went to the Final Four, but hey, we just gotta just reload, man. Go out there and get them.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I mean, and
So
it's
that means
happening everywhere.
yeah, and that, but statistically, look at it. We're going to have to replace 40% of our roster.
Yeah, right. Well, forget it. I mean, on top of that, you know, one guy, Estrado, graduated or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he ran out of eligibility, which I'm so ready for the COVID eligibility to be gone, just because these guys with these extra years, and I mean, ridiculous that red shirt. You know, it's such a mess.
Yeah, it is, and maybe, I don't know. Maybe he wanted to leave because we do have 3 guys coming in that are really highly regarded prospects that may just take his job. And then Grant Nelson's still, you know, he's likely to return, I think.
Right, and Mark Sears likely to return.
Right, so you know, we'll see.
Well, Brett, talking about likely to return to definitely returning. Latrell Wrightsell Jr. is the good news. He's coming back. I like this guy, man. I think he's underrated. He's a battler. When he was out, Alabama stunk. You remember that? He got hurt. And then at the end of the season, and then that's why I think one of the reasons they didn't win the SEC. They couldn't play defense. He's tough. We got to add some defenders to the mix. But I tell you, I think this is a really good sign that he's coming back. He's someone that I wanted to keep on the roster.
I did too, and I'm with you. I'm a big Wrightsell fan. I think he's a tough kid, and it's good to have him back on board with us, because we definitely needed some good news.
Yeah, no doubt. So that's the good news there. We're keeping an eye on Mark Sears, Grant Nelson. I think both of those guys should come back. I mean, there's no chance they're going to be in the NBA and play in the NBA next year, right? So if you're going to be in the G League or something, come back, crank out some of that NIL. Mark Sears will be able to do a ton of endorsements, and he'll be able to take advantage of what NIL is supposed to be because he's earned it. Same thing with Grant Nelson. You know, everybody's going to want to look. I'm getting dark in here. Everybody's going to want to have the mustache. He should get together with Manscaped.
That's the night that they turn the lights out in Georgia. You've almost went dark on us, but you're not completely there.
I'm still here. It's like I got a flashlight, right?
That would be great. That would be great. I hope everyone has a wonderful Wednesday. Today is Picking a Blanket Day. You like picking a blankets? Yeah,
I love them, man. I'll tell you what. When I do football games, and you're invited over, Brett. During football season, pigs in a blanket are one of the go-tos, and I like the barbecue sauce mixed with grape jelly as the go-to sauce for the pigs in a blanket. I'm telling you, man, that stuff is so good, even better than ketchup. And you know I'm a ketchup guy.
Yeah, and those are really good with meatballs too in a crock pot.
Yeah. That's another one, but better with pigs in a blanket. I'm telling you, just
okay. I'll have to try that.
But you got to have the spicy. You got to have the spicy. Barbecue sauce. You can't just do it with mild. Doesn't work right.
Yeah, it doesn't work right. Today is also Scream Day, so it kind of like promotes the healing powers.
Movie?
No, promotes the healing powers of screaming. And I've wanted to do that a lot here lately for some reason. So I may go outside and just scream. And then my weird factoid of the day today is with AI and everything, they've now developed this 4-legged robot dog that you can buy.
Really?
Yeah, this 4-legged robot dog, and it costs $10,000. Okay,
mm-hmm.
but let me tell you what it can do. It has a flamethrower that can shoot fire up to 30 feet.
Really?
Yeah.
So what do you do? Like, what do you use it for? Like, what do you what's the fire do? Like, I mean, I'm just curious. Like, I would love a robot dog.
It probably eats Purina robot chew and then shoots napalm. I don't know.
If your neighbors get on your nerves, you just get your dog to shoot fire at them.
That's right. But if it's anything like cousin Eddie's dog, you better just let him go. Let him go. Unless they can shoot fire.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, guys, thanks for hanging out with us. Make sure you check out Brett Elmore on WJLX. You guys know him from the Brett Elmore Show, 6 to 10 every morning on WJLX. A lot of places to find it, and he does a fantastic job cracking us up in Jasper and Walker County. And don't forget, too, that our show is brought to you by New Life Art. Use the promo code Bama Tailgate to get 15% off 4th and 31. This code's I'm only going to have this one for probably a couple more days. So if you want that print and you want to take advantage of that 15%, use it right now. Guys, thanks for hanging out with us. Great job, Brett. And to all of you guys, have a fantastic day. And tell everybody, for me, one thing: Roll Tide.